You ever think about how some religious movements just explode in popularity? It's
Yeah,
fascinating.
absolutely. Are you referring to any in particular?
Yeah. I've been reading about the Unification Church and son Myung Moon.
Oh, the
It's
Moonies.
such a wild story.
Definitely. I mean, the mass weddings alone are just mind-blowing.
Right. Thousands of couples getting married at once, many who've never even met before.
Exactly.
How does that even happen?
Well, Moon claimed only he had the divine authority to arrange marriages. So people trusted him to choose their life partners.
It's like handing over the most personal decision to someone else entirely.
Right.
I can't imagine that level of trust.
Or control. But let's back up a bit. How did Moon rise to such prominence?
Well, he was born in 1920 in Korea during Japanese
Okay.
occupation. In 1954, he founded the Unification Church after claiming to have a vision from Jesus.
So he believed he was chosen to complete Jesus' unfinished work.
Exactly. Moon taught that he and his wife were the new Messiah, the true parents of humankind.
That's intense. And he thought Jesus failed his mission?
Yeah, that's what he preached. It's
Wow.
a bold stance, to say the least.
Do you think that's part of what drew people in? The idea of a new beginning?
Possibly.
Yeah.
People might have been looking for something more, especially post-war.
But then, how did it grow into a global empire?
Moon was quite the entrepreneur.
Right.
The church expanded into various businesses: media, manufacturing, even seafood.
They owned the Washington Times, didn't they?
Yes,
Crazy.
that gave them significant influence in political circles. Exactly. Moon leveraged those connections to spread his ideology.
Clever. But with all that influence, there must have been some pushback.
Definitely. There were numerous accusations of brainwashing and manipulation.
Yeah.
Families were concerned about loved ones becoming completely devoted to the church.
And there were financial scandals too, exploiting members for donations.
Yes, the church was accused of exploiting members for donations.
That's concerning. It's kind of like those situations where people are drawn in and then taken advantage of.
Exactly. It raises questions about the ethical responsibilities of religious leaders.
For sure. You know, I sometimes wonder if the followers saw any of these red flags.
Well, when you're inside the movement, it can be hard to see the full picture.
True.
There's a sense of community and purpose that can overshadow doubts.
That's a good point.
And after Moon's death in 2012, the church didn't just fade away. It's still
Right.
active today.
Though now there's a power struggle between his widow and children over the empire.
Yes, and that internal conflict shows the complexities within the organization.
Absolutely. It's like there's layers upon layers to this story.
Totally. And despite everything, they still have millions of followers worldwide.
Incredible. So, do you think movements like this fill a gap in people's lives?
Maybe.
Yeah.
People often seek meaning, community, and answers to big questions.
But at what point does a movement become a cult?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's a fine line between strong leadership and authoritarian control.
I guess intent and methods play a huge role.
Agreed. And perhaps transparency and respect for individual autonomy as well.
Definitely.
That's an interesting point.
Right.
Maybe it's about how they evolve and integrate into society.
Exactly. And whether they contribute positively or cause harm.
So, in the case of the Unification Church, it's a mixed legacy.
For sure.
There's both influence and controversy.
Well, it certainly gives us a lot to think about.
Absolutely. It's a subject
Yeah.
that could be discussed endlessly.
Maybe we should dive deeper into other similar movements in future discussions.
I think that would be great.
Agreed.
It's important to understand these dynamics.
Well, thanks for bringing this up today. It's been enlightening.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Always good to explore these topics together.